So I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, just in the suburbs, and had an older brother and a younger brother, so the middle child. Loved riding bikes. Music was always interesting to me. Didn't really like the organized sports, the footballs, the baseball. That wasn't my thing. So kind of beat to my own drummer. Definitely see myself making that with my kids as well and letting them do their own things. Probably 12 or 13, I got into cycling. That was the Lance Armstrong era. That was something that I could do. I was always kind of the short guy, the little person, not big enough to play hockey. Got into that whole world, and it's something that I've pretty much carried through my adult life as well. So a big part of my life. Started playing in a band, started my own band, and we started getting bigger and playing shows and more shows and more shows, and became kind of a regular thing in Cleveland. So it was a good time. Originally went to community college in Cleveland and started taking random art classes and found photography. So I was very interested in photojournalism, show people the world in a little bit different way. So that was definitely a big part of my life through college. I'm a Top Gun era kid, so that was huge. I mean, we wore out the VHS tapes when I was a kid, my brothers and I. So, always fascinated by it. The Cleveland Air Show we used to go to every year. We used to go to the end of the runway at Cleveland Hopkins Airport, and you could sit at the end and just watch planes take off. I remember that vividly as a kid. And as I started to think about what I was going to do with my life, I thought, well, maybe I should be a pilot. So I started taking some flight lessons and ended up getting about 25 hours, and I realized this is not what I'm going to do as a career, but I like the industry. So I kind of shifted gears there, and that was my catalyst to pursue an opportunity with an aviation company. I can say that I've never worked for a company before, let alone an aviation company that has invested in its employees and its commitment to family and building relationships. The fact that the company invests in just events, opportunities for teammates to get together, and the weekly lunch. I mean, it's such a small thing that we all take for granted now, but in reality, those are all things that nobody else, you don't have to do those things, right? And I think NJ understands the things that people value, the time, the effort, the intention put into how we interact with each other. I think one of the important things there is that he includes his family in virtually all of those events. He's one of us. We are all the same. And to me, I think that's a unique characteristic and almost a vulnerability of letting your family into the mix. But I think he sees the importance of his employees sharing their family, their time, and why wouldn't he do the same thing? I think that just shows that we're all the same at the end of the day. Maybe we have different titles and we have different roles within the company, but I think we can all agree that family is something that's important to all of us. And having those bonds as employees together only makes us work better together. That ultimately spills over into how we treat our members. I firmly believe that if you have money, you can have nice shiny airplanes and you can fly them, you can provide a service. But what Nicholas Air does differently is the attention to detail and treating our members as people and not just a number. We actually have real relationships with our members. I think that is a vastly different approach than many of our competitors who simply want you to book flights through apps. We talk to our members. When things don't go right, I call them and I apologize and I explain to them what happened and how we're going to improve so it doesn't happen the next time. We truly are an extension of their family. We're there in the good times and the bad times, and it creates a different level of respect. They know when they reach out to us, or to myself personally, that they're going to get Ryan. They're not going to get a random person to help them. It's somebody who knows where they travel to and from, what happened on their last flight, where they're going to, who just got married, all of those things that happen in my life, your life, they're people as well, and we treat them like people. In terms of actually the physical Moving to Oxford, it was just a different way of life. People were a little bit friendlier, a little warmer than living up in the Northeast. Oxford is a great town. Obviously, having kids, schools are a huge thing for us. So we did our research there. Obviously, the company did their research when deciding to move their location to Oxford, knowing that essentially they're the best schools in the state. So, to me, that's always something whenever we've moved, that's been a huge part of where we moved to. Having the company recognize that I have a family and that's extremely important to me, and spending time with them, school events, those types of things, that's extremely important to me. And they're only kids once, so I want to be part of that. And I've been very fortunate to have that ability to mesh the professional and private life together in a package that works for us. I'm Ryan DiVita, Executive Director of Member Operations. I've been a proud part of the Nicholas Air team since 2019.